Okay, it's weird. Hello. Did I get attacked? Okay, whatever. So, welcome back. It's been a pretty long while since I streamed, I guess. But I've been playing a lot of They Are Billions, and I have been playing a lot of Ninokuni. Well, a lot. I've been playing it since last weekend. I got 9 hours into the game. I'm level 16 and level 15. And I did play it on the PS3 back in the day, but I never beat it. I never completed the game. At a certain point in the game, I was kind of burned out on it, I think, what I remember, and never really went back to it. So I figured, I got this game cheap, and I figured it's time to play it again, because I do remember it's actually being a pretty good game. And I was right. It's pretty good. Easily, and somehow the AI spams healing a lot, so the magic points AI is how do you say that? Holy shit. Is up, sort of, pretty soon. It depletes, that's the word, damn it. It depletes pretty quickly. Because she uses so much. To save. One thing I do want to say though is I kind of remember Ninokuni being a pretty good looking game. And that the quality was pretty high, but I kind of forgot how good it looked. I mean, it looks extremely good. Especially like the world map. In a lot of ways, this is exactly how a modern Japanese RPG should look like, in my personal opinion. And lucky for us, last generation, I want to say this generation, but the Ps4 gen is already over. But last generation, you know, we did have a lot of good games, and the Switch is still sort of current gen. So games like Xenoblade, etc. are extremely good, but also Dragon Quest, Persona 5. I got Persona 5 Royale, and I still need to play it. It's also one of these games I started playing. I was about 50, 60 hours into the game. I thought it was a great game. I really liked it, but somehow I got burnt out on it or something, or maybe something else came up. And definitely back then I bought basically everything that came out. So I kind of never beat the game. I remember I was in the desert area, in the pyramid. That's where I was. I'm not sure if I was stuck, but this is where I was. I think I was grinding. I do remember grinding quite a bit in that pyramid area, and then a certain enemy killed me in one hit, and I was pretty angry. Maybe that's why I stopped, because I was like, nope, I'm not gonna do that again. I do like the battle system in the second Ninokuni. This is not bad, but I don't know, I like the sort of more action-paced, fast combat. PlayStation Kings. Why the hell do you call me Big Daddy? That's weird. But hello. So, am I considered a PlayStation king? Nope. I will get the PS5 in July. And even when I get the PS5, I probably still will be playing a lot more on PS4 this year than on PS5. There are a lot more games on PS4 than on PS5. But I'm excited for Demon Souls though. I want to play Demon Souls. And Ratchet & Clank. And of course Horizon. Can't wait for new Horizon. I know, but that doesn't really matter to me. You obtained the burning blade. Is it like a weapon? Probably. But do I really want to give him a burning blade? Probably not, because it's in a fire sort of area. But now I'm kind of curious, PlayStation Kings. Are you like a subscriber to my YouTube channel, or you just saw this stream and you're like, yay, let's check it out? Because if you sort of subscribed to my channel, you probably would know that I, number one, does not have a PS5, and number two, does not really care about, well, I do care about frame rate, etc., but if it's not good enough, then who cares? I still play on my PS1 and PS2. I actually beat Dragon Quest 8 last year. Shit, the ruffian killed me. How? Shit. That's probably... I am curious, at least, on certain games that will run on PS5. Oh, really? That is a very interesting video. I didn't even expect it, to be honest. All the hate. At least, I was kind of baiting it, but it was still fun. Yeah, but I basically play on all systems. I mean, on the PlayStation systems, and I have a Nintendo Switch. So I know, even PS4 games can play and run better, or look and run better on PS5, but yeah, it runs perfectly fine on PS4. At least the games that I play, and games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, etc. I'm kind of waiting to get like the PS5 version.
We did it!
But I'm mostly concerned, well, not concerned. I'm mostly into indie games. So indie games and Japanese games, and of course, especially indie games. I mean, the pixel art stuff. They can even let it run on a PS3 or even on a PS2. So, I'm not really concerned. Yeah, I've heard that. But I'm getting a new television in May, and I'm already thinking about, should I get 100 Hertz television or 120? You know what the thing is like, I would be happy if games run at 60 frames all the time, because that's definitely something that's not happening, since the PS3 days. So do I really care about 120 frames? Probably not. And like 120 frames television is sort of a lot more expensive than, a 100 Hertz version. And especially if you consider like the bigger games like Horizon or Spider-Man or whatever the maximum is gonna be 60 frames.
We did it!
We're not gonna see a AAA Western game or even a game like like Final Fantasy running at 120 frames. So do I really need a 2000 television? Probably not. I would be happy if it runs at 60 frames. I can definitely understand that a lot of indie games are gonna run at 120 frames, or at least has an option to run at 120 frames, and it probably will look extremely good or very smooth. But yeah, I don't really care about that. So it's probably just gonna be a 100 frame television, or I actually heard that there's a television from Sony that runs at 100 Hertz, and that Sony actually patched it to run at 120. I have no idea how they can do it, but who knows? Maybe it works. I mean, this game runs at 60 frames, and it's pretty smooth, I haven't seen a single frame rate drop. It looks good. That's all I want. Even if a game runs at 30 frames, but it's very smooth, like God of War or like Horizon, sure, there are some frame rate drops here and there, but in general, 98%, it's very smooth. I don't mind it at all. But this generation is probably gonna be like a lot of games are gonna have options, like you have an option for HDR and ray tracing and 30 frames with 4K, or turn everything off and have 4K at 60 frames or 1080p or 1440 at 60 frames. I would probably will stick with the 60 frames option instead of better graphics. But I've even done that with the Pro with Ghost of Tsushima, because Ghost of Tsushima has an option that runs at a solid 30 frames, or you know, there are frame rate drops, but it looks better. And I played the entire game with the improved frame rate, and it just not only is it a beautiful game, but you know, it played very good. So that's one of the games I'm really excited for to check out on PS5, to see how 60 frames affect the gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima.
Stay calm now. Here goes.
Level 13. Until I'm level 17, probably. What's this? I knew that. Of course I knew that. Damn it, I hate that. Ha! Oh, didn't die. Didn't even take damage, okay.
Stay
get to level 18.
We're under attack! We did it! We're under attack!
Damn, take this. Evil monsters.
We did it!
Come on, no. Almost. A moon drop and a planet drop. Okay. Nice.
Stay calm now!
It's kind of funny because I know I'm further in the game than this. I mean, back when I played on PS3, but I don't remember this section. It's weird. It's been a long time ago.
Nino!
Time to be level 18. Yes.
Come on, you guys! Nice flash!
Okay. We're nearly there. Okay. He tricked us. Let's have a look at the crater. It's gonna be funny if I did all the grinding and just got smashed into pieces.
You came, boy, as I knew you would.
Is that
Hey, what's up, the juggler?
Shadar? Huh?
How are you doing?
I have a little trial of my own for you.
Lord of Lava. That's great. Of course I'm still collecting. I actually got 3 new PS4 games today in the mail. The first games of 2021. This is probably gonna be the biggest year in terms of collecting for PS4. Probably. Oh really? Did you get strictly limited collection or did you get just in stores? Because I'm still waiting for my collection edition from strictly limited. It's been months now. Like in the beginning of November, they were like, yeah, the game is going to come out in November. We're gonna ship it, and I still don't have it. It's a little bit getting annoying, to be honest, but I still have so much to play. I can wait. Oh really? Did you get the collection edition or just the normal version? Because I do know that the normal versions are already shipped, and they have started shipping at the end of December for the collector's edition, but I still haven't received a confirmation that it's being shipped. The game looks extremely good, by the way. Extremely good. I've found like so I found a new gaming channel. It's a pretty big one. It's called Best Indie Games or Indie Games, something like that. And what is this? Oh, Phoenix Header, Phoenix Down, Phoenix Header. So, that guy is actually a really big fan of indie games. Why doesn't she wake up? Oh, she did. And he really likes pixel art, and he likes Metroidvanias and roguelike games. And because of him, I've actually found a lot of extremely good-looking indie games. And I think it was 2 weekends ago on a Sunday. I just wasn't in the mood for playing games, and I just watched a lot of his videos, and I was very surprised at how many indie games there are. Like, holy shit! And most of them were, for oh shit!
I let everybody down.
Okay, so I haven't even got. I even didn't get like a notification that it was sent or something like that. I remember at the beginning of January I contacted Strictly Limited and asked, hey, where's the stuff? You know, we've been waiting so long. And they're like, yeah, we're building the, you know, the collection edition. It's going to be shipped out. And it's almost at the end of December now, and still haven't received a notification that I got 3. Got 2 of my friends also wanted a copy. But I'm happy that they have been sending it, at least. What I'm actually going to do now, because I got beaten, not easily, but still, it's time to grind again. Let's see if I can at least... Oh, I can't. Okay. But what I was saying is, I found this YouTube channel that basically only talks about indie games. And most of them are like on Steam and PS4 and Switch. But I found so many great looking pixel art games, I'm like, damn. You know, Limited Run can really still put out so many games. No, I did not buy Turrican. I did buy, let me grab the 3 games I got. Because these are really cheap. I think I got these 3 games for, I think, 25 or 26 bucks, including shipping. And I got Children of Morta. Children of Morta is sort of a pixel art Diablo. And some people really like it, and some people say, yeah, it's nothing special. I mean, the pixel art looks good, but it's just a, you know, sort of a dumped down Diablo clone. But it looks so freaking good, and I am really into pixel art games nowadays. It's really weird. So I'm trying to pick up as many pixel art games as I can that at least I'm interested in. I also got Risk of Rain 2. I think it was 8 or 9 bucks, including shipping. And this also has the original Risk of Rain with it. And I've seen some gameplay and I didn't know what to think about it. I'm like, it looks really over the top. But a lot of people who played Risk of Rain 2 says it's a really good game once you sort of get into it. So I'm like, yeah, for a couple of bucks, can pass it up. And I did get Paul Faris. Do you know that one? It's, I guess, sort of like Turricane and sort of like Contra. But it has a extremely gritty, sort of dark, fantasy, alien-ish type of graphics. And if I'm not mistaken, and I think I'm not, let me try and pick, yeah, here it is. I think it's from the same developers of Slaying Back to Hell. Or not. I don't think it is. I don't. Was it the same guys? Because Big Sugar doesn't say on this box though. Maybe I was wrong. I thought it was from the same developers as Slaying. Slaying is pretty good. To be honest, I have to give it another chance. But I remember playing this game, I could not beat the first level. And it's the same with Blasphemous. Blasphemous is such an incredible, beautiful game. It looks so interesting, but I could not even finish the first level. Like, I really like Dark Souls kind of games. I really do. If there is sort of a RPG level up system where you can get stronger, kind of like Salt and Sanctuary. Salt and Sanctuary is also a game I still need to complete. I'm pretty far in the game, but I still need to complete. And even if I'm stuck somewhere, I can just level up and get better, get stronger. And that's how I kind of play through Soul-like games. But games like Blasphemous, again, maybe I should give it another shot. But I remember it being extremely hard, really, really difficult, and I'll be honest, I'm just not good. I'm not a good gamer. I kind of suck in a lot of games. Besides 8-bit armies, I'm the best. I'm still the best. Bloodstained is one of these games that I absolutely loved. And I loved grinding to level up, you know, to get new equipment, to check out the magic or the new stuff that I got. And they actually updated the game with a lot of extra free DLC. So I kind of hope that they will release like a physical version on PS5 or even on PS4 with all the content included. That would be so cool.
Nice flash.
I'm actually gonna do a video probably this weekend about that the PS4 will have its biggest year ever. And that's more for me personally, because there are, you know, we're going into the time where a lot of gamers are going to sell or trade their PS4 and collections to get the new systems. So the market is going to be flooded with a lot of games, and a lot of games will drop in price. You know, game stores are gonna try and sell their stuff cheaper so that, you know, they have space for the newer systems. So even though my sort of gaming budget is going to be increased by just a little bit, I probably will get a lot more games than I did last year because of they're gonna be a lot cheaper. And I probably won't be really collecting for the PS5 this year. I mean, my plan for the PS5 is pretty simple. I'm gonna get the system, I'm gonna get Demon Souls with it, or Horizon, if that is available at that time in July, and that's it. And when I beat Demon Souls or Horizon, then I'm going to get another game, probably Spider-Man or Ratchet & Clank, probably the new one. So, you know, I'm not gonna pick up the PS5 and buy like 4 games. I'm just gonna buy them one at a time, and I'm gonna focus on exclusives, and then I'm just gonna see whatever they're gonna do. Oh, really? I have Curse of the Moon from Limited Run. There was a small time period where, you know, I was kind of into the Switch, because I think it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago when Xenoblade 2 came out, and Zelda and Mario. And that year I mostly played on the Switch. It almost never happens, but I'm just so many great games on the Switch that year. And somehow I was like, you know what, all these smaller indie games, you should kind of get them on the Switch. I mean, it's Nintendo, that's where pixel art games, you know, should be. So games like Curse of the Moon, I got on the Nintendo Switch. And I think a couple of months later, I'm like, yeah, but PS4 is my main system, and that's what I want to collect for. So I still have those games on the Switch, and I don't mind them. And I still buy, I mean, I'm gonna order 2 new Switch games next week from Limited Run, the Chiron and Panzer Paladin. But if there would be like a PS4 version, I would probably buy the PS4 version and then sell the Switch version. The PS5 in stock here in Holland. Some stores say that the pre-orders are sold out until March. Like, damn, March. And I'm going to get the system in July, at least I hope I will get one in July, so hopefully stock will be better. But the rumors are that Sony's actually going to produce 18 million systems the first year. that would it kind of feels very low, like only 18 million. You know, the Switch did almost 30 last year, but for the first year, 18 million is like a new record. It's incredible. It's a huge amount. Are they going to do that? You know, can they do that? I don't know. It's just a rumor. But yeah, hopefully in a couple of months we will see PS5 just in stores and scalpers will be gone. I know Mulana. I think I played it on the PS Vita, and again I found that game extremely hard. But I have to admit though,
We did it!
I have to admit is that with certain games, I play them a couple of times and I can't really get into it or something like that, or I die a lot, and I just totally like abandon them. Like, yeah, whatever. That's kind of the annoying part of having so many games, and especially so many games that you still want to play. It's kind of easy to sort of throw a game in the back and say, yeah, I'm not gonna play this. You know, I'm not going to spend the entire day dying or learning the game. And that's sort of something that I am trying to do more, like, you know, push it harder and really get into the game. But games like Celeste are just in such a way so difficult that it's not like a lot of fun to me. And lucky for me though, Celeste did have an easy mode where you're basically untouchable. So I kind of played that game in that mode just to experience the game and experience the story and the music. And I don't know, that's maybe why with certain games I play also on easy, etc. I think 2 weeks ago on a weekend, on a Friday, I played Icy. Have you ever heard of that game? So it's sort of a 2D,
We won!
like a 2D hack and slasher sort of, and I'm like, oh damn. When I saw that game, I was very intrigued of like, I want to have this game. But at the same time, I was kind of fearing it would be extremely difficult, and the game actually lets you have an option to play the game on easy, and I kind of played it on easy. And I mean, most of the fights were easy. I did die a couple times, but I did have fun, and I think at the end that's like the most important part, is that you have fun with the games. If you're playing it on super hard because you're a really good gamer, or you're playing it on easy because you suck,
Here we go!
you know, it's still gonna have it's gonna be a lot of fun if you're having fun. That's what's up, Emma Lumpy. It's been a long time. Oh wacht, we waren ook. Jij was een Nederlander. Maar ja, ik zal proberen zo mogelijk Engels te praten. Dat is zeker wel iets handiger. Of kwam je uit België? 2. Icy is een goed spel, moet je spelen. En Icy is ook maar, ik denk 3 uurtjes of 2,5 uur. Ik had hem echt heel snel uitgespeeld. Maar wel leuk. Hey, what's up PlayStation Kings? You're still here. Pretty cool. Yes, I played all the Killzone games, even the first one. A funny thing is, I remember playing Diablo 2 when it, you know, was still really big, and I actually played with someone, and we were talking about video games and developments and PS2. Later, see you next time. Thank you for watching. So I was just playing with someone on Diablo 2, and he said, yeah, I'm at a Dutch gaming studio and we are working on a new game called Killzone, and it's gonna be like the most impressive first-person shooter ever. It's gonna be, you know, the Halo killer. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I always remember that. It's kind of stupid, but it's kind of weird because Killzone at the end became pretty famous, especially Killzone 2. So I did play Killzone 1 and I did sort of enjoy it. I never beat it. And then Killzone 2 came and I was extremely hyped. I was very excited for the game. It looked amazing. It still looks amazing, by the way. And I really liked Killzone 2. Killzone 2 is probably one of the only shooters that I played multiple times. I really tried to get all the trophies and stuff. I really enjoyed that game. And I liked Killzone 3. I did enjoy Killzone Shadowfall. It wasn't as good as the other Killzone games, but it was okay. Especially for like a launch game, almost, you know, you're hyped for new gen. So I was like, yeah, it looks really good, etc. I didn't think there was anything bad with it. It was just not the Killzone 2 and 3. And Killzone Mercenaries on the Vita was really good. And it looked amazing. I would love to have a port for Killzone Mercenaries on the PS5 or 4. It would be really cool. Hey, what's up, Emmer Lumpies? You probably saw my post, was it last week, on YouTube? The thing is, I was kind of in a weird mood. So I'm kind of, this year I'm torn between two things I'm very excited for and two things I really wanted. So at one side, I wanted to get a new car. I wanted to get a BMW Z4, and even though I was kind of planning to get that one next year, but I found a really good one, so it really made me think, should I get it, should I do it? But that would basically, you know, break my sort of my gaming budget. So at the other side, I want to get a new television, and I want, of course, get the PS5. So I was really thinking about it, and somehow, I don't know why, I kind of got a little bit depressed, like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I should do, because I got a really beautiful car right now, and I don't want to lose the car, sort of. So I was even thinking, like, maybe I should just buy the Z4 and have the Z3, who cares? But I'm like, I'm not rich or anything, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So at one point, my mind said, you know what? I'm going to get the Z4, I'm gonna sell my Z3, and I will not get a PS5 and a television. I will wait until next year. And then I gone to bed. I made that post. I gone to bed, and the morning I woke up and I went to work. I have no idea if you have a car or if you even like cars or whatever. But I was in my garage and I was looking at my car and I was like, I don't want to get rid of you. I love this car. I mean, I customize it and I want to customize it even more. I'm like, I'm not gonna get rid of you. So I kind of dismissed the whole getting a Z4 stuff. I'm like, yeah, maybe next year or the year after, who knows what happens. So yes, I'm still going to get a PS5 in July. I even got 3 weeks of vacation. I even got on a Friday before my vacation, I got a week off, a day off from work. So on a Friday, I'm actually planning on getting the PS5 so I can play the entire weekend and then 3 weeks. Kinda stupid, but that's me. I already did this. So I am going to get the PS5 and hopefully they will sort out some of the glitches and stuff that I've been hearing about. Probably it's already done though, but we'll see. That is exactly what I do. And that's like the most annoying part. You know, because it's so easy nowadays to check out, you know, a app that sells cars. They only sell cars. It's called Auto Scout. And where I bought my Z3, that guy basically trades Z4s or roadsters, you know, sport cars. So he had a really good one. I mean, seriously, he's the only one I really sort of trust. And, you know, when he says this is a good car, I trust it is a good car. And I'm looking at the car, I'm like, yeah, it looks really good. It had like 19-inch wheels, looked really cool. I'm like, maybe I should get it. You know, it was, I'll be honest, it was a little bit too expensive. Because again, I was planning on getting it next year. But I was looking at it, I'm like, somehow, I'm not entirely sure if you do the same thing, but I look at like a new car or a new thing and I'm like, yeah, the one I have sucks, even though that's not true at all. But I'm pretty happy that I didn't do it, and he already sold the car, by the way. Kind of sucks. But hey, what's up, SS Gangsta? Or is it like Gangsta? Gangsta, something like that. Probably. There he's doing. So wow. Do you have like a PS5 or? Easy peasy, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I said earlier, like, I am going to get the PS5 and I'll play the exclusives that I want, like, one by one. But I am definitely not collecting for the PS5. You know, I'll just going to get the games that I really want to play. And of course, there aren't even that many, you know, PS5 games out there. Spirit of the Flame. So I honestly believe that this is going to be the biggest year in terms of collecting for PS4 for me personally, but we shall see. Because I'm definitely at a certain point where, like, I want to play certain games that I already have, and then I don't even look at like Amazon that much anymore, because I don't want to get into sort of the temptation to get something. Because I do believe that I have enough, and I still need to have crosscode. I still need 5 packages from Limited Run, and then, I mean, I'm not talking about one game. There are like 20 games in total. So, you know, and I really want to get the PS5 with sort of the game budget that I have. So I have to save up about 4 months. So let's hope I can do it. Besides the 3 games that I got, I mean, but they were $25. I mean, $25, come on. You can't beat that. No, I don't. You know, I really like collector's editions. I really like sort of the collection or special editions for like consoles, but I don't see like a need to get every console or every you know, color of console. I just I have my PS4 Pro, and if it dies, I will get another one, and that's basically it. What I am going to do though is when they sort of say we're really gonna stop PS4 production, I probably will pick up a PS4. But then again, I do have a couple of friends who always throw their systems away when they get another one. So the possibility for me to get like their PS4s is pretty high. I got like a PS3 from a friend of mine. I got a PS2 from a friend of mine. You know, it's pretty easy. Like when they have a new system, it's like, hey, Alex, do you want to have my old stuff or not? I'm like, yeah, sure. How do I decide what to collect for? How do you decide what to collect for it? You mean in terms of PS4 games? Well, my interest is pretty big. I like a lot of different games. You probably know that. So it's really hard to sort of, I want to buy this or that. But since I, started Operation Zero Launch Games, I've really been, my mindset is sort of not buy expensive games. Do not buy games at launch as much as possible. I think last year I got a couple of games at launch. I got Ghost of Tsushima, I got Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then that's it. I think I got two games at launch. Let me check it out. Let me check if I'm not lying. If I'm not a liar. No, I think I'm right. I think those are the only ones I really got at launch. Yeah, I did. Oh, did I get Medieval? No, I didn't. No, Medieval came out in 2019, right? Holy shit, that's so long ago, damn. And The Last of Us 2, I got cheap. Death Stranding, I got cheap. Yeah, so basically the only games that I paid full price for are like limited run stuff. And everything else, my mindset is buy it as cheap as possible. So I really try and wait before buying a certain game, and I try to sort of keep in budget. And last year at the end my budget was 0, so I kept to my budget. It was pretty cool. And kind of what I do is, for example, like this year I'm gonna get the PS5 in July, so I have to sort of, my monthly budget is 100. It was 120. I have increased it to 140 this year because I get a raise every year, so every year I can spend a little bit more on games. So my budget at the moment is 140 euros. So for example, I need 500 for the PS5, and I need, about 60 bucks probably, because in July Demon Souls will probably be cheaper, but we don't know. Let's say, for example, 50 bucks. So that is 550 euros that I need in July. And I don't want to, use my savings or use whatever. I just want to buy the stuff with the budget that I have. And I'm not really smart, so let me check it out. Let me check it out. Wait a minute. So I'm gonna buy it in the beginning of July, and I get paid at like the end of the month, so it's not 7 months but 6 months. That's 840 bucks that I can spend from now until I get the PS5. So if we decrease the 550 bucks that I need for, the PS5, that means that I have 290 euros spent from now until June. I have no idea. Let me try it again. Wait up. So there's 290. It's kind of stupid why I'm doing this, but divided with 6. No. Idiot. Wait up. Divide by 6. So that's about 45 euros every month that I can, in theory, spend on games. And that's kind of how I do it. But of course, limited run is always fucking it up. But I mostly have, like, if I want to look for games, if I'm in the mood, or I'm like, yeah, I want to buy some games, I basically make sort of another budget. Like, I want to spend 50 bucks on games, and then I check out the game stores, Amazon, whatever, and I spend that amount. And how I decide which games that I want to buy, that's definitely the hardest part, but I mostly check out the Japanese games first, check out indie games, check out what's, you know, in sale, etc. And that's how I sort of know what to get. And since I like a lot, it's never like I buy crap. I mean, for other people it's crap, but for me it's a game that I'm interested in. And I think it's very important to have sort of a budget, and that you stick with that budget. And even if you see more awesome stuff, you know, try to sort of stick to the budget. You know, a friend of mine, he buys a lot of games. He actually buys a lot more than me, and especially games new, because he's sort of afraid that his games will be sold out, etc. And he now actually has sort of a small gaming depression, because he says, I spend a lot of money on games every month, yet I feel like I don't have anything. I don't do anything with them. He maybe have like a backlog of like 40 games, all from last year, and he doesn't even play them. And, you know, I try to tell him, like, you shouldn't do this, you know, stop this. You can't have it all, right? It's impossible. With stuff like Limited Run, Strictly Limited, East Asia Soft, so many different companies nowadays are making limited stuff that you cannot buy everything you want. You really have to be selective, and sometimes you just say, I don't care, you know, I don't want this. I mean, it looks cool, but if it's sold out, it's sold out. And he just bought everything. So he kind of has like a gaming depression right now. He doesn't want a game, he doesn't want to buy anything. And I'm like, I can understand that, because if you spend 300, 400, 500 euros every month, but you're not really playing it, you know, at a certain point in time, just as with me, you're gonna think, or you're gonna learn, like, why am I actually doing this? Why am I spending so much money on things I'm not using? And then you're gonna think, you know, gaming is, you know, crap, I'm wasting my life, and this and that, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, but the fact is you are wasting way too much money on something that you shouldn't do. And that's why I am pretty proud of myself that I did the same thing, and I got a big gaming depression in 2011, sold a huge amount of games, regretted it even till this day, and pretty happy that I'm not that guy anymore, and that with even such a small budget for me, you know, if I look at $140. For some people it's a lot. For me it's really small. But still, I can game, I can buy everything I want, you know, and a lot cheaper. And to be honest, it kind of feels pretty good to sort of wait out. Like when I got The Last of Us 2, I got for $20, and I got Death Stranding for $20. And I don't know, it felt different. It felt like pretty cool. Like, yeah, I waited for this game. I could pay $60, or I just wait a couple of months and, you know, save $40. And I played Last of Us 2, and it's actually pretty good. I have no idea why people hate it so much. It's a really good game. Yeah, that is kind of what every gamer that collects sort of has. And you will never do it, let's be honest. There are certain games, even in my collection, that, you know, you bought it thinking you're gonna play it, but there's other stuff, and there's always the newest stuff. There's always more stuff, and at a certain point in time, you kind of forget that there was a certain game you wanted to play. And I have a really good example for that game, actually, and that is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. It's actually a birthday present that I got not last year, but the year before that. Because I really wanted to play that game. It looked really cool. People were saying this game is fantastic, this and that. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. So the same friend, he got me this game, and I was really hyped. I was really like excited. Like, yeah, I can finally play it. It's still in Seal. I just don't have the opportunity to play it. And I think also one of the key elements of collecting and gaming at the same time is that when you buy a certain game you like, you forget about it and you buy a lot of other games, and then you remember like, oh yeah, I wanted to play that game, but at the same time you're thinking, yes, but I kind of want to play that game first. It's kind of like with Death Stranding, to be completely honest. Like, I really want to play Death Stranding, but Ninokuni is better. I want to play that game first. And same goes with Persona. Like, I would probably play Persona Royal first than Death Stranding, because Death Stranding looked like a really interesting game. In all honesty, it really looks interesting, but I am afraid that I'll get bored. Because I've heard it's a huge amount of walking, just walking. And the same thing happened with Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, if you actually go into the action, if you go into the gameplay, it was a really cool game. It really was. I had a lot of fun with Metal Gear Solid 5. But everything else, like the open world segment and the walking, or at least riding with your horse, I just got bored. At a certain point in time, I'm like, I've already seen this, I've already done this. It takes too long. And I'm afraid I'll have the same feeling with Death Stranding, because I'll be honest, I do not want to walk 60 hours in a game if I can play stuff like Persona 5, or at the time maybe Demon's Souls, or even indie games that I'm super interested in, like Children of Morta. And when I finally get Crosscode, I mean, I probably want to play that game. So I definitely know what you understand with I buy more and one day I will play it, but a lot of times you probably will not play it, and that's fine by me. I know that it's impossible to play every game in the world. You just don't have enough time for that. Even I You know, people always tell me that I have a lot of time on my hands. You know, I don't have a kid or anything, so I do have a lot of time on my hands. And still, I can never play everything I have. I'm like, I get bored quicker if I have a game waiting in the wings, if that makes sense. Not entirely sure. Do you mean like you're playing a game, but you also want to play something else, so the game that you're playing gets boring? Because I had the same thing, like I've been playing the Outer Worlds for the last couple of 2 weeks, and it's a fantastic game, and I'm about 30 hours into the game, but I got bored. Not specifically because I wanted to play Icy or I wanted to play Ninokuni. It's just that even though the quality was there and it looked and played and sounded fantastic, it reminds me so much of Borderlands. And I am so burnt out on Borderlands. Like, Borderlands is a really cool game, but after playing it on PS3, playing it on Ps4, I am done with Borderlands. I got Borderlands 3 for $6. I still haven't played it, and I probably maybe will never. So the Outer Worlds is like the better version of Borderlands. Yet I could not finish it because it got bored at some certain time. And one thing that I have learned is I am not going to force myself to play a game just to say I beat it. I don't care. If I don't beat it, then I don't beat it. But that's just like being a collector and being a gamer. So in some ways, sometimes I do sort of envy the gamers who play one game. We have a friend and he has a couple of games, like literally a couple of games, but he has like 1,500 hours in Monster Hunter World, and I have, I think, 450 hours in Monster Hunter World, and that's like my most played game this last generation. Like, Monster Hunter World was absolutely bonkers. It was completely fantastic, everything I wanted in a Monster Hunter game. I cannot wait for a new expansion to Monster Hunter World to finally dig into Monster Hunter World again. But when I sort of beat the expansion and I played a little bit longer, I was like, yeah, it's time for something new. And he just plays it more and more and more. And I kind of envy that, like that you can play a game for so long. Like most games that I play, I can't even reach 100 hours because I'll get bored. If a game reaches 100 hours of playtime with me, then it's a fantastic game. Like Dragon Quest, you know, like Horizon, and Ghost of Tsushima was almost 100 hours. But I got Platinum, so I did everything I could. And Xenoblade, all the Xenoblade games spent more than 100 hours. Zelda Breath of the Wild spent more than 100 hours. It's just how I am. I get bored pretty quickly. Well, not really quickly, but when something is done, I'm like, okay, it's done. Time to play something else. But he doesn't buy more things. He doesn't buy more games. So he just keeps playing the same game. And he, you know, is as happy as I am. So but that's just being a collector, I guess. I think in some ways every collector has that, not just me and you. Even if you collect like cars, if you have like 20 cars, you can still drive one. And you probably will have that one car you always drive. And even though you like your other cars, it's not as good or cool as the car you have. And, you know, same goes with collecting figures, I guess. If you into anime figures or action figures or whatever, it's probably there. You probably will have figures that are thrown in the back or still in cases or in storage. And even though you really liked that figure and you really wanted to buy that figure, it's not as good as the figures you have displayed in some ways. Same with Gundam. I like Gundam, I like Gunpla, building these Gundams. I haven't done it in quite a while though. I still have one that I still need to buy. But on Instagram, I am subscribed to a couple of Gunpla, big ones, and on YouTube. And these guys have shelves full of Gundams. It looks really cool, but even they sell some of the Gundams that they build because they're like, yeah, I need to have more space for something else. So I think in that sense, if you're a collector and collect a lot of stuff in the way that I do and maybe that you do, there will always be stuff that you will never touch. And even though you're interested in it, and even though you are very excited to buy it, you probably will never touch it or never play it. It's weird, but there are so many games out there, and every year there are more games and more and more and more. It's just how it is. You have no bounty. Oh, I don't have any bounties. That's why. Oh yeah. I can't even remember there were sort of a bounty system in Ninokuni. But to be honest, I probably wasn't really far with the PS3 version, because in the sort of the opening scene, you see that you have a ship that you can sail around the world, old school RPG. And I definitely remember that I did not have a ship on the PS3 version of Ninokuni. And most of the time, getting a ship is like halfway through the game. Claim merit rewards. Enemies from behind. Why is this? Oh, that is definitely. Oh, okay, it's standard stuff. Okay. Oh, I don't like that system though. Like these sort of side missions / quests are kind of tedious and very generic. But at the same time, you do sort of get rewards. Like a real reward for doing them. So that's really cool. And I'm still amazed at how good this game looks and how many details there are in this game. Like, these are the games that should sell 5 to 10 million. To be honest. This is what a modern RPG should be. So just let's hope that Final Fantasy 16 is going to be good. Final Fantasy 15 was not bad, but it was definitely not a good Final Fantasy game. And I know, because I know my Final Fantasy games, of course. Final Fantasy 7 Remake though, woohoo! Damn, that one is fucking good. I can definitely understand that, because especially like older RPGs, nowadays, even with this game, you have like a star on the map and it tells you where to go. The storyline explains to you what you should do. But especially like older RPGs, and we're talking about like PS1 and PS2 era and everything that came before, Super Nintendo, etc. Most of the time, that's of course part of the experience, but most of the time they just drop you into the world, have a storyline, and just go there. And you're like, where? Yeah, just go there. So you don't know where to go. And in some ways, even if you look at like Final Fantasy 7, 8 and 9, it does, you can only go to one place, so you kind of know where to go, but they don't really tell you. You know, as you can see now, there's like a star in the world map, so you know where to go. So even if you haven't played the game for, let's say, a couple of months, you still know where to go. So here's the thing, like, if you never played Final Fantasy 7,
Here we go.
you're probably gonna have a really good time. You're gonna see that the game is high quality, that's really good. Everything is extremely good in the remake of Final Fantasy. But
Nino!
I will say, I'll be honest, a big part of the experience of the remake is because you know the original Final Fantasy. So it's like a childhood memory coming to life, because in the original Final Fantasy, the Midgard section is extremely small. It's like maybe 3 hours, and you see a very small part of the city of Midgard. Now Midgard is actually a gigantic city, like a holy shit giant city. It's almost a country on a plate. It is gigantic. And the remake shows you how big it is, and that is so cool. Like there's like an upper plate with skyscrapers and highways, and there's sort of the city under the plate, and it's like the slums, you know, etc. And when you look up, it almost looks like you're seeing the sun, but it's just a lamp, like a giant lamp, to, you know, make sure that the city under the plate is lit, or everything will be really dark. And that's just the scope of how gigantic that city is, and they could never really show it to you on the original game, but in the remake they can, and the same goes with a lot of things. Well, I'm really biased, so I would definitely say Final Fantasy VII. And I think many people will say that, because Final Fantasy VII is like, it put RPGs on the world map. Like, all of a sudden, many people were interested in RPGs, because Final Fantasy VII is an RPG done right. They do tell you where to go. Not on a world map, you don't literally see, like, this is where you have to go. But most of the time, you can only go one way, and at, like, the midway of the game, or sort of, no, more like 1/3 of the game, you get, like, a little ship, and you can go to more places. But when you're at that time, you kind of know what to do, you kind of know how the game plays. But Final Fantasy VII Remake, you know, if you don't like turn-based battles or really outdated graphics, I mean, I grew up with it, so don't care, then Final Fantasy VII Remake is extremely good too. But it's not what I would say is like a typical Japanese RPG. That's really, you know, the older stuff and stuff like this. And Dragon Quest XI is not only a very modern Japanese RPG, it's also very old school. You know, I played Dragon Quest VIII last year, I beat it, and Dragon Quest XI is almost the same as Dragon Quest VIII in the terms of how the storyline is, how the gameplay is, how it plays, how it looks, how it feels. It's just modern. It looks better. You know, it plays better. So ditch that. Don't go for Final Fantasy VII. Go for Dragon Quest XI. And there are two versions out there. There's the original Dragon Quest XI. That is the PS4 and PC version. It has, I think, better frame rate and definitely better graphics. But if you want to have the version with more content, there is Dragon Quest XI S. And that has the extra content from the Nintendo Switch. But sadly, it is a Nintendo Switch port. So it also has the low resolution, etc. But it still looks really good. But if you want to have like a game that looks a little bit better, get the original one. Do you want to have the one with improvements and extra content? Go for Dragon Quest XI S. But Dragon Quest XI is like the pinnacle of RPGs last generation. It's probably one of the best. It is turn-based, but you can also do it more faster. You know, you have like a turn-based option, and you have sort of like a more fast-paced, not really action, but just a little bit, sort of. Kind of like this. Like this is sort of turn-based, but it's also action-based. Yeah, Dragon Quest XI, it's a really good game. But you have to understand that Japanese RPGs, and especially Dragon Quest games, they have a very long intro before sort of the game opens up. It could take a couple of hours until you get the hang of it and you feel like, okay, now the game opens up, now the game starts. But that is the joy of a RPG. And that is what a lot of Japanese RPGs nowadays just miss. Games like Hyperdimension Neptunia, etc. It's more like fan service with wacky ass characters, wacky ass, everything wacky ass. It's not bad, but it's not sort of grand, fantastical fantasy RPGs that I love, like this and like Ninokuni 2. Ninokuni 2 is also a really good RPG. That is sort of more like an action-based RPG, like a Tales of game. So you don't have to wait, etc. And there is a patch that makes the game harder, but the game in itself is pretty easy. Even if you play the normal, it's pretty easy. So it's really easy to get into. And you know, if you don't like turn-based, Ninokuni 2 is not only very inexpensive, it's a really, really good game.
We're under attack! Here we go!
I remember this part, by the way. Not this battle, but I remember on the PS3 this part of the world that you can go down. And city over there. I do remember that. I'm now 10 and a half hours into the game. Level 19, almost 20. Pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot. You know, it's kind of funny because I'm not into Pokemon or anything. I never played the Pokemon, by the way, but I'm just... It's really weird because most people who like Pokemon kind of hate me. But when I look at Pokemon, sure, I've seen the movies, I've seen the anime or the cartoon, and I have, when I was a kid, I did collect Pokemon cards. Oh, damn it. I wished I never got rid of the Pokemon cards. Some of these cards would make me very rich. I got like a Charizard, but whatever. It's, you know, nobody really knew that would happen 20 years from now. But, you know, I did like Pokemon for what it was as a cartoon, you know, but I never got into the games. I remember playing Pokemon Red on the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance from my little brother, and I was like, yeah, okay, it's fun. I just never really got into it. I never, don't know. I like, if I look at the new Pokemon, I'm like, okay, it looks fine. Kind of like with Animal Crossing. Like, everybody likes Animal Crossing. I'm like, it doesn't appeal to me. Just the art style, it doesn't appeal to me. The gameplay does. I mean, Pokemon is pretty cool, I guess, how you played it, you know. But, for example, I did play Digimon, Cyber Sleuth. So, I really like Digimon. I think the art design is really cool, and it basically is sort of Pokemon in a different skin. And it's the same with this. Like, this is kind of Pokemon-ish. And some of these characters I'm like, yeah, it looks stupid. But some of the characters, like this character, looks pretty cool. And I do like, that's like, I understand why people like Pokemon. Because you can give them treats and they will get stronger, etc. And that is pretty cool. I definitely understand that. You know what the funny thing is? I actually have the same thing. So here's the point. Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game. One of the best open world games I've played. It's extremely flawed. It's extremely empty. Once I've beaten the game, there was like nothing to do. Like, all the quests that I did, I'm like, yeah, who cares? I get money, or I get the material to upgrade my weapon, but I don't have anything to fight. There are no dungeons, there are no, just almost nothing. But I did like exploring the world. I honestly did. I think Zelda Breath of the Wild is a fantastic game. And I cannot wait to play the second one that is really made for the Nintendo Switch. But, with that being said, I tried out the other Zelda game. What was it on the Nintendo Switch? Link's Awakening. I tried it out. And I was playing it. I'm like, okay, it looks and plays nice. And about 10 hours into the game, or maybe even less, I just got bored. I don't know why. I just got bored. And I'm not into puzzle games. So there's, of course, a lot of puzzles in the game. I'm like, yeah, they're really childish and really small puzzles. Don't get me wrong. I'm just don't really like it. And I kind of stopped playing it. Probably will never get back to it. And friends of mine hate me for it. They're like, you like Zelda Breath of the Wild, but you don't like one of the best Zeldas ever. I'm like, yeah, okay. So on the Super Nintendo, of course, I got the subscription last year. I don't have it anymore, but last year I wanted to play Breath of Fire 2, and I did. And I beat the game last year. It was pretty cool. And of course, A Link to the Past is on the Super Nintendo app on the Nintendo Switch. And I've heard it's like one of the best. It looks good. It's like, you know, the beginning of sort of the open world RPG genre. I'm like, okay, let's play it. So I played it, and they were right. I really enjoyed my time with A Link to the Past. Up until about 10 hours. And then I got bored again. I was like, yeah, it's fun, but it's, you know, you don't level up. You don't get really new gear you can buy at shops. It's a lot of backtracking. It's a lot of go to, you know, get a key in this dungeon. Do a lot of... holy shit, I'll do a lot of puzzles, damn it. Do a lot of puzzles and beat the boss, get the key, and repeat, etc. And, you know, I always say that for the time period it came out, it probably would be mind-blowing. Like, holy damn, you feel like you're in a real world. Kind of the same feeling I had playing Diablo, playing Final Fantasy VII. You know, it made you feel like, holy shit, I've never experienced this before. I just could not get into the older Zelda games. And I have 3D Game Heroes on PS3. It's like a cult classic, pretty rare game. And I had the same thing, because it plays like the old Zelda games. So I was playing it, and a lot of fun, and about 10-12 hours I'm like, yeah, I'm getting bored. So in that sense, I don't like the old Zelda games, but Breath of the Wild, like the open world, and you can collect armor and weapons, etc., and explore a really cool looking and interesting world. That is a Zelda I really like. I just hope that they fix the flaws they had in the original game. Magic attack increase. So you can sort of feed your pets, your familiars, it's what they call here, to, you know, make them stronger. It's pretty cool, I like it. Oh, he can, what's he? Is it this one? Oh yeah. So I'm kind of enjoying sort of this Pokemon-ish style of gameplay. But I do prefer the Ninokuni 2's gameplay. The more character-based, gear-based, you know, gameplay. But this is fun too. One thing I do want to mention though is that I do like a lot that your familiars or your pets sort of restart when they get upgraded to level 1, so you kind of have to upgrade them again. Okay, I'm actually sort of going to be offline. It's not late, but I'm already streaming for about 2 hours almost. But yeah, I hope you get Dragon Quest XI and Ninokuni 2. And let me know in one of my videos or whatever if you enjoy Dragon Quest XI. It's a really good game. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for the chat. And we will see each other next time, or talk, or whatever. I will try to stream a little bit more. Bye.